offended, do not watch this video. Leave now. You have been warned. America, land of the free home of the brave, or is it? With the election in full swing, the divisions among us will be on full display and get more extreme going into November. And if you think the election will settle it, you're wrong. I will say right here and right now, no matter who will be declared the winner, there will be violence. Why? Because the divisions are so deep that neither side will accept the results. There is a solution, however, that red states and blue states break from each other and form their own nations. Others who have given this a lot thought agree. If you are hardwired to this notion of us being forced to stay together because of history or some other reason, you will be blamed when bodies start to pile up in the streets. If you think that won't happen, then you need to do some research on the history of civil wars around the world. War is ugly, and I think civil war is worse. When you have to shoot your neighbor because they support the other side, you're going to feel a certain way about that. Killing a foreign invader who is trying to force an ideology on you that you don't agree with is easy. But when someone you have known most of your life says, "I support the other side," you will become enraged and kill that person, but it won't be brushed aside or forgotten so easily. The solution is simple: a peaceful nation divorce. I spent 15 years of my life living in a red state and 30 years living in a blue. The attitudes and cultures couldn't be more different. People in blue states consider themselves to be cultured and sophisticated, and they are usually more well-off than people in red states. Most don't know or care what the Constitution or Bill of Rights says, or thinks what it says is old and outdated or even racist. Obviously, I have heard these people speak about their beliefs and what they think is important, and most of the time it does not reflect anything the Founding Fathers believed. I have, however, heard them quote extensively from the Communist Manifesto, whether they knew where these viewpoints came from or not. When I have pointed it out, their response has been angrily replying, "So what?" or coldly asking, "And your point being?" After I came back from a red state for a brief few years a ways back, I forgot this tendency in blue staters, and I was alarmed. When I realized again how widespread these ideas were, I coined the phrase, government zombies. I came up that phrase during COVID when the rules surrounding that farce weren't just being observed in blue states and being there to keep people safe, but had strong, almost religious overtones. Maskers were good. Mask resistors were evil. The regulations were the Bible, and the government was God. A lot of red states moved away from these regulations very quickly or didn't adopt them in the first place. There is no way for people to find common ground with such diametrically opposing points of view. People in red states tend to be a lot more conservative. Sometimes if you say something that strays even mildly away from the Constitution, they may literally pull out a pocket-sized version of the Constitution, read it, and tell you how you're wrong. Coming out of a blue state 25 years ago, the first time this happened to me, the man who engaged me in this civics lesson gave me his pocket Constitution. When I asked, didn't he need it, he responded, no, I have like 10 copies. Having grew up in a blue state, I had never even read the Constitution. When I thought back to my 12 years in government schools, I don't ever even remember them teaching the Constitution. Most blue staters hold the Constitution in contempt. If you are going to write in the comments that you live in a blue state and you don't think that way, then you need to save your energy, pack your shit, and get the hell out of there like right now. There's no reason to be there unless you like high taxes and shocking amounts of regulations. A national divorce has been kicked around for years, with no one really taking it seriously until now. If believe the last election was legitimate, and Biden deserves to be in the White House, that's fine. But 75 million people disagree with you. Despite what side you come down on, if you are on the Biden team, you be responsible for what happens with the ongoing migrant influx. Some might ask, why is this happening now? Or what is the agenda? But if you think there is no nefarious agenda behind this, then you fall into the category of government zombie. There is no way that 10 million people decide to invade a sovereign nation's border and be welcomed in by its government, and there not be a nefarious agenda behind it. Despite all the government sticks its nose into, their main job is to protect the borders and the people from foreign invaders. It doesn't matter whether the invaders have ill intent or not. That country's resources are meant to benefit the citizens of that country, and that country alone. If someone says otherwise, that person should be viewed with suspicion. That person is a willing or unwitting dupe, and nothing they say should be listened to or taken seriously. At this point, you may or may not be able to buy into what I am saying, but if you want a vision of what a civil war will look like, think back to the summer of 2020. Now imagine that nationwide. It won't just be in the cities and will be small towns too. Despite what Jason Aldean says, you won't be able to hide or keep your head down. You will be forced to pick a side. So what side are you on? National divorce or civil war? Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.